Statistics terminology, Chapter 1. A sample statistic or statistic is a summary number such as sample mean, sample proportion, used to estimate the corresponding population parameters such as a population mean or a population proportion. For example, in a sample of several thousand voters in June 2020, the proportion favoring Biden was 52% compared to Trump's 44%. And we could use these sample proportions as estimates of the proportions favoring Biden compared to Trump and the entire population of millions of voters. Each voter polled would be an observational unit or an observation or a case. For this example, the voter's preference is a categorical or qualitative variable. The pollster also asked for ages of each voter polled. Age would be considered a numerical or quantitative or measurement variable. The poll found that Biden had an even wider lead over Trump among younger voters. Thus, in this context, the age of the voter could be considered an explanatory or independent variable, and the voter's political preference could be considered a response or a dependent variable. In some cases, the independent variable may cause or affect the dependent variable, but that's very hard to prove because there's lots of other variables that may be affecting, also affecting the dependent variable. Income could be considered to be one of these such variables. It would be considered to be a third or a lurking or a confounding variable because income was not reported and may affect voter preference. One of the biggest challenges in polling is choosing a sample that is representative of the population. The way the sample is chosen can make a big difference in the accuracy of the results. For example, in 1948, a poll of voters selected from telephone books predicted that Dewey, a Republican, would beat Truman, a Democrat, in the presidential election. In fact, Truman beat Dewey. The problem was that in 1948, the people who had telephones tended to have more money, and those people tended to vote Republican. If you're able to choose your sample in a way that each voter has an equal chance of being chosen, then a sample of a few thousand can be provide surprisingly accurate results for a population of millions. But the key challenge is to make this sample in a way that each voter can be has an equal chance of being chosen. That's the big challenge. Another example of a poor polling practice would be to solicit feedback on customer satisfaction by leaving a stack of questionnaires at the exit. This type of sample is called a volunteer or self-selected or convenience sample. The disadvantage of this polling method is that the people who would be most likely to respond to the questionnaire would be those who had a complaint, and so the results would most likely show a higher level of customer dissatisfaction than was actually the case. Even if you choose the samples that each person has an equal chance of being chosen, you might not end up with a truly representative sample if large numbers of people choose not to respond. Some ways of reducing the rate of non-response are making the questionnaire short and quick, and also making repeated attempts to get non-responders to respond. And that concludes this presentation.